was out of the groove of reminding you to record, so.
I'm sorry, guys, that I didn't record up until now, but we're going to answer Robin's question. Robin, would you repeat your question?
You were just talking about how if you don't eat for like 5 hours, you have a dip in your insulin and your body's telling you you want glucose or whatever. And so I was trying to put that into when we're supposed to be fasting for 12 hours, 14 hours. How is that different? And how do you manage that as we continue through the program, after the program?
Right. So the fasting part is typically from 3 hours before bed through your sleep, and then until you're hungry, legitimately hungry. And so it's not that your body's starving at that point. In fact, Brooke Castillo, who owns the Life Coach School, she calls it dining in. You're dining in on your fat at that point. Like, you're not without fuel. You're never without fuel. You're just dining in, and you're able to utilize fuel that way. It's just that when we're so used to eating carbohydrates, then we are more dependent on them. Once we go off carbohydrates, to a certain extent, you don't have to be ketogenic, but if you have gone off them enough and you don't spike your insulin so much throughout the day, if you only do it 3 to 4 times during your meals, then that's called fat adapted. That means you are using that time in between and during the fast as a time where you're utilizing your own fat for fuel. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Sue. Sue was like, me.
Okay, I can go easily 18 hours without eating. I could go like from 6 o'clock tonight till noon tomorrow and not be legitimately hungry. So now I have, like, I usually go to bed between 9 and 10. So I have a 6-hour, 7-hour window to get 3 meals in. Yeah. So that's a lot of food in that amount of time.
You're right. And so people do struggle with that have that short window. People who do intermittent fasting and only eat in a very small window. I know some people who only eat in a 4-hour window, and they're eating a ton of food in that 4 hours.
I don't know.
And it's not really good for your digestive system to push it that hard. Like, you don't want so much food that you're uncomfortable at the end of the meal. You don't want to, you don't want to eat to the point where you are bloated and uncomfortable, right? So it is figuring out, what it takes to get what you need.
Three meals in 6 hours doesn't sound unreasonable, though. I mean, yeah, 3 meals in 6 hours. So
well, you have it 12, 3, and 6.
Right. I mean, so you get your block of time between.
Right. Does that work for you, Sue? Is that what you've been doing?
It just seems like a lot of food for me. It's like,
well, right. So it's interesting because I want you to reflect on how you were doing it before. So typically we will graze throughout the day.
Yes. And eat one big meal.
Right.
Yeah. The interesting thing is my last meal, after I've had my 3 meals, I'm usually hungry half an hour later.
Interesting.
I don't know why. I've eaten all my meals, and I'm starving for food, not sweets, but I'm hungry. So I just made a shake.
Well, that's an interesting thing. So I would say increase your fat in that last meal. And let's see if that helps you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Let's see. Someone asked, is there a difference in using honey or other natural sweeteners and sugar? To be honest, I really recommend using natural sweeteners like erythritol. I just read an article just yesterday when I was doing some homework for the presentation we're doing tomorrow. It does not spike blood sugar like sugar, honey, maple syrup, even xylitol spikes it to a certain extent, but erythritol does not. And it's a safe sweetener. We found that it doesn't cause GI harm like sucralose does. It doesn't cause, at some point in time, saccharin was like on the chopping block because a potential for cancer. So it doesn't, and Equal was like a neurotoxin, like it doesn't have any ill effects that the other ones do. And it is sweet enough to actually cook with it and make sauces with it and incorporate into sweetness into. Now, I was really looking hard for an article that that said whether or not it stimulated dopamine though. So just because it doesn't spike your insulin doesn't mean it doesn't make you want more sweet. So if you choose to use it, I'm curious about your experience with it. If it makes you want more sweet. Robin?
So I was the person who had a cup of tea every morning with 2 heaping teaspoons of sugar every day.
Wow.
And so I switched over to the erythritol. I still do 2 level spoonfuls, and then I put in 2 or 3 drops of stevia, and it works for me. And it doesn't make me want more.
Excellent. I love hearing that. Thank you.
And is it safe? It's all safe for kids. I'm saying the erythritol, the monk
is.
fruit, the
So-
allulose, those are all okay for kids also, right?
It is safe for kids. That's what you said?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Because I follow someone named Maria Emmerich. I don't know if you know her, but
You mentioned
she-
it.
Yeah, so she is a keto chef who raised her children on erythritol and has like all these, like Maria, I told you about her too, right? Do you remember me telling you about her? Yeah. So she does all kinds of baked goods, but her more recent one is really using a lot of egg whites to make breads. And that's one of the recipes I included, those tortillas that are made of egg whites. So she's very creative. She actually makes a pudding. Oh my gosh. So I've never shared this with you guys, but there's a pudding that she makes. It's just strictly egg whites and erythritol and cocoa powder and cinnamon. I think maybe a little bit of coffee. Phenomenal. It would knock your socks off. It was so good. I will share something with you. We really wanted our Saturday of our final, like after our 10 days, we wanted to do a potluck, and we wanted to have everyone share like their favorite meals and their favorite recipes for the potluck. So if we get a chance to, maybe we'll get together in the summer when we can like have a picnic outside to do it. But due to COVID, we thought, yeah, not such a good idea.
Even outdoors?
Yeah, like today, yeah, no.
Can you share that recipe for the pudding with
I
us? That
sure will.
sounds
Yes.
great. Thank you.
It is good. It is good. And if you put in a whole egg instead of just the egg whites, it's even better. And you don't, it like sets by itself. It's just so good. You're going to be stunned because it's actually, you use hard boiled eggs and hard cooked egg whites. You don't, you cook them first and then you put them in the blender with all the ingredients. It's fascinating.
Oh, wow.
I know. She's like a magician.
I saw the video on it when you told my husband and you mentioned her. I was like looking her up, like, who is this person? And she has a video about it, actually. She makes it on video.
Yeah, I'll share that with the group. Very cool.
Nice.
So what else do you guys want to talk about tonight?
Can I ask a quick question about something you just mentioned?
Yeah, of course.
You mentioned the egg white tortillas. Is that something we can eat right now?
Yes.
Okay, because I saw those today. Okay,
Oh, so did you see the Egg Life?
I did see those. Yes, is that what?
So that's acceptable also.
Okay,
Oh, so those they have in Kroger and in Aldi as well.
Yep, you can have those too. In fact, I also on Maria's website or Facebook page, people will cut them into very thin strips and then boil them in some broth and then throw them in and make, that's noodles for them. They say that's a really great noodle substitute.
That's like a Passover noodle
Oh, okay, very
with
good.
the egg.
Excellent. Good, good. Good to know.
What was it called again, Chris?
Egg
The name of
Life.
that?
what did you say the brand was? It's the egg white tortillas.
It's Egg Life.
Egg life, that's it. Yep. I found that at Fresh Time. So I couldn't find the cropinis there, but I found the Egg Life stuff.
Right, right, right.
They have some different ones, I think. There's some that are just like with cauliflower and just egg, and then there's some that I think have some sort of a flour in them. You have to check. There are different ones. The Grappini also makes different ones. So
Right, they do,
make sure.
right? Yeah, I don't know. Look at the ingredients. I've taught you guys how to read ingredients. So what
I
was the
had bought
chef's
the-
name? It's Maria Emmerich, and it's mariamindandbodyhealth.com. And thank you for Marie for sharing that. Very good. I'm really proud of you guys for you guys have been pushing through. You've made strides, and I hope you're proud of yourself for all that you've accomplished so far. We're not even, are we even? Are we halfway through? We're not even
tomorrow.
halfway through.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow's halfway through. Poor Brenda.
Who's counting?
And Liz. You guys can do it. I know it. You got a good support team around you.
I had one more question. Sorry to bother everybody. They make these sodas that are the zero sugar that are made just with erythritol, stevia,
Like
and or
Zevia.
monk fruit. Are those okay to have now? What's the story
So,
with those?
I knew we were going to get to the point where it's like, what about this?
I was just wondering, no, because you know what? Believe it or not, we are in the middle of nowhere, Michigan right now, in like Six Lakes, Michigan. And when we were driving up here on Thursday, we passed a health food store, like in the middle of I forget what it's called, something, a little bit of a bigger town. And yesterday I said to my husband, we did some shopping, and I said, I want to go to that health food store. I want to see what's there. It was amazing. I couldn't believe it. It was like a fully stocked
That's
health food
fabulous.
store in the middle of like nowhere, Michigan.
So let's talk about drinks first.
Okay,
If
and
it
but
has-
they had it there, so
If it has erythritol as its sweetener and it has 0 carbs, so which means that it might show up erythritol as carbs, but then it will show, like it will say 6 carbs, but then it will say 6 grams of erythritol. Then you know that all the carbs are erythritol, and those carbs are not registered for insulin, so they will not spike insulin.
that's okay. So if it says
So that would be
erythritol
okay.
separate,
Yes.
okay,
So that would be okay. Sobe waters, I'm not familiar. Make sure it doesn't have any carbs, so I don't want to see any fruit juice in it. Or if there's fruit juice, then it's really way down the list.
okay, no, it doesn't. Like, I'll give you some examples of
No.
companies. There's one,
Someone was asking about Sobe water. That's what I'm
oh,
referring to.
Sobe water. Oh, because I was gonna
Yeah.
say like the sodas that they have on the market that are like that. There's Zevia, they have Blue Sky makes, Virgil's makes a few different flavors. Also, they're
So you're
0
getting
sugar
into some
weeds.
so you're getting into some natural flavors though. And we do want to avoid natural
Okay.
flavors because once again, it's a proprietary mix. You don't really know what's in it. And
Where it
so
comes from.
for the cleanse, I would say try not to do that.
Not
But
to,
moving
okay.
forward, it might be a great alternative to some of the higher sugar drinks that you
Right,
would
like once in a
normally
while. Okay,
Right.
okay. Because that's like if that's what I let my kids have if like there's something in school or as a special.
No, it would be
treat
safe
or
for kids, and I
reward.
do recommend if your kids are drinking soda to switch to something like a Zevia. But sometimes you
Okay,
need
no.
some time between because the cola, not quite the same.
So my kids don't drink regular soda unless they've like, snuck it or had it when they shouldn't, but I never ever buy it in our house.
Right.
If I buy a soda, that's what it was. And I was just wondering like for ourselves, our group now, what the story was. Okay.
So Vicky asked, when dealing with supplements like vitamin D, is rice flour in the supplement an issue? I would say no, it is not an issue. The amount that's in there is so minuscule and you need your vitamin D.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Someone said, Brenda said 4 days down, 6 to go. Yep, today's 4 days. Yay. I think the rest will be a breeze for you. Susan.
Yeah, are things like LaCroix, those waters or
Of
any of the,
LaCroix?
Yeah.
So once again, you probably could get away with it. There's natural flavors and that's like, honestly, if it's going to keep you on the cleanse, go for it.
No, I haven't. I'm just thinking
Right.
about afterwards.
But afterwards, that's a good alternative to any higher sugar juice or soda. Absolutely, 100%.
We don't have either one.
So, so there is the issue of aluminum cans, right?
Right.
So keep that in mind too, when you're having these sodas, that, you know, if you have something out of a glass bottle, it is better because you're not getting that aluminum. Because, you know, phosphoric acid is what makes it bubbly, and it's an acid, and it can pull out the aluminum into the drink. Same thing with,
Thank you.
same thing with iced teas and plastic water bottles. I'm not looking at anyone.
I think I saw one on the counter the other day, didn't I? It was yeah.
So I wish they made glass or stainless steel in larger sizes other than just 22 ounces. Because then you have to buy
Right,
3 or more.
right.
And
So we have a big glass jug. It's a jug. It looks like moonshine. It's a big jug. And I've been making Tim, you know, caffeine-free tea to get him through all his work days. So right now he's doing good.
Now, did somebody mention almond milk the other day? Is it cooking or for also just,
It could be for
Drinking.
cooking or for your shake.
okay,
Mhm. Remember, unsweetened.
right.
If you're using it in cooking, I'd suggest do not get the vanilla. It makes it taste weird.
Well, I tried almond milk today, the unsweetened, but I prefer the shake, just
Just plain, yeah.
plain. Yeah, I don't, yeah.
So who's making a shake out of more than just water? Liz, what are you putting in?
I tried it.
I put a cup of coconut milk in. I put carrots in, about a half a cup of carrots, about a half a cup of celery. and
Fabulous.
That's what I,
You put that in with
sometimes
the
I toss
shake?
like, yeah,
Wow.
sometimes I toss one of those little tiny, those little, what do they call those, like lunch apples or something like that. They're really tiny. I'll
Wow.
cut one of those up and toss that in there too.
I'm impressed. Robin, what do you do?
So because I was home today, this morning I made the shake. I'd been using it with water the whole week because I've been at work. And so water's available at work. But today I made it with warm water. I have an Instahot. So I sort of did half cold water, half warm water, and that wasn't too bad. And then the second shake of the day, I used almond milk and threw in a couple of frozen blueberries. And I mean, it was fine. It was, I think I'm going to continue to make it with the almond milk.
Someone had suggested putting cinnamon in. I don't remember. Vicky did. Yeah, that's a great idea. I was thinking about that. I was thinking, in the wintertime, I love having like a pumpkin, not latte, but like pumpkin with coconut milk and cinnamon. And I'm like, you could totally use the vanilla shake and put pumpkin in it and cinnamon and make it a hot drink.
I
Sue?
tried today to put
I'm gonna try that
almond
tomorrow.
milk.
I
I
have
wanted
to
to
say-
upgrade it.
Wait, Marie, what did you say?
Go ahead. Mhm.
I wanted to upgrade it today and try to put almond milk and put some spices to do kind of a chai latte thing.
Yeah. Did
It-
you do that?
I put cinnamon, ginger powder, and cardamom,
How'd it turn out?
and a little bit of nut butter to just make it a little. It was okay. It doesn't taste as good as a real chai, but it's fine. It gave it a little body.
Good. Sue, what were you saying?
All right. So tonight, since I was hungry after my meal, I decided to make a shake. And what I did is I used almond milk with a lot of ice cubes, and then I used chocolate protein powder. It's pea based, and then I made it so it was really, really thick. And then I added also 1 tablespoon of the nut butter from Trader Joe's, and I put it in a bowl so it looked like ice cream. And then I sprinkled 10 chopped up almonds on top, and it was like a fake ice cream.
Hey, Sue,
I-
would you put that in the Facebook group?
Yes, I will.
Thank you. That
Yeah.
sounds a great treat.
It felt good, like it's like a fake ice cream, but it was better than nothing. So
That's
Yes.
fabulous. Okay, so someone said bubbly is also good. Brenda said that. Vicky said when doing Brita filter water, is the charcoal filter an issue? No, it should not be an issue. That should be just fine. Brenda said she adds cinnamon and coconut milk. Excellent idea. Miriam says, what shake is everyone referring to when they talk about it after their meals? Is it a pea rice protein that you're doing, Sue?
it's called New Zest. It's actually from Europe, and I'll put it's very clean. I'll send a copy of the label as well, so you could look at it just to double check. But yeah, there's a vanilla and there's a chocolate flavor. So
Very good.
Yeah.
Excellent. Anything else, you guys? Okay, I gave you a kind of like a little hint of what we're going to be talking about tomorrow, starting with the overeating. So stay tuned. Beth, did you have a question? Yep. Okay. So I hope you guys can be on, and I look forward to seeing you. Have a great night. And Chris, if you want to come by the office tomorrow, I'll have crepinis for you.
I am. What time am I there?
You have what?
What time I am coming in, right?
Are you coming in tomorrow? You are, aren't you?
Yeah, we just rescheduled.
That's right. Yeah. So
You
we
didn't
have
kick me
extra
off,
crepinis.
did you?
Does anyone else need crepinis? Because we bought 6 today at Costco. So if you need one, you can come by the office. Just let us know.
They're on sale.
They were on sale. Beth, you coming in?
How different is the crepini from the Egg Life? Because I couldn't find crepini, but I found the Egg Life, and I assumed before
They
you told
are
us that they were
different.
the same.
So I think so 2 things. One, the crepini is very much crepe-like. So it's super fragile and super duper thin.
Okay.
And so it's hard to keep everything in it because it's so fragile. But I like the taste better because it makes me feel more like breadish, where the Egg Life is more like an egg wrap, which makes it easy to use, but still a little different.
So I've been putting them in a pan and it's like basting them a little bit so they firm up a hair.
Oh,
Because
good.
they were too foamy for me. The texture,
That's
raw, I
that's
didn't
a
like.
good word for it. It's a very egg-like texture.
So the crepini will have a more bread-like quality naturally.
So come by the office tomorrow and you can pick one up. Anyone else? That's 2. Sue, you gonna pick one up? You got it. Anyone
You're
else?
good.
Okay.
Nope.
Marie? Okay, 4. I got it. Okay, you got those? Okay, Tim will bring them tomorrow. Have a good night, guys.
Thank you.
You're
Good
welcome.
night.
Are we allowed to have seltzer right now? Like the
Club soda?
like yeah,
Yeah.
it's fine, even if it's flavored.
You know, we're back to
Or
that
stay
natural
away.
flavors,
That's it.
right?
Okay, because over like the weekend I didn't realize, and I
So
was
you
like,
can do,
"Oh, I didn't
no,
know."
you didn't go off of it, but just try to
Okay.
be aware of that.
Okay, it was like on the table. I'm like, I've been drinking. I had it along with my water, so I had way more than my, allotted gallon plus my shakes.
Right.
So I just wanted to know. Okay,
No
perfect.
problem. No problem.
Thank you so much. See you tomorrow night.
Good night.
Bye.
Later, gang. Rock it on.
Good night.
Bye, Mars.
I have to tell you something funny.
Tell me. Remember 4.
So I stopped at Trader Joe's to get some hemp seed because it's gram of protein, blah, blah, blah. And I walked by the wines and I'm like, oh, let me see what they have. I'm like, no, duh, we can't, right? And I'm like, wait, nothing stops me from buying the wine. There is no rule about that.
That's true. There's no rule about that. Did
So
you
2
buy the wine?
bottles. So there was actually a nice Chateau du Pape. I'm like, this guy and I talked about it. Like, oh, all right. So I bought it. I'm like, I can just put it in my little wine rack.
Sure. Looks beautiful there.
And you know what? It did help that psychological thing of, I'm like, I just wanted, it's Saturday and I wanted a glass of wine. I'm by myself. I'm like, I just want a glass of wine, watch a movie kind of thing. Like, No, like, okay, but it did help that I bought it and there it
That's
is.
good. That's awesome. I'm glad
So
that
then
worked for you.
Yeah, it did psychologically. It helped. I'm like, oh, good. I'm stacking my rack because I didn't have any.
Right. You'll be prepared for whenever
I-
that happens.
What you said to get rid of all the stuff in the cabinet, so I ate it all and drank it all. Just
Okay, so
kidding.
your liver really needs help.
You know, you said get rid of it, get rid of it. I was like, oh, she said get rid of it. So I did. I mean, I'm following instructions.
Yes, you are. You're good about that. You're too funny.
I mean, can't say. And then I don't have to suck down the shakes because I'm used to those kind of shakes. I actually like them when I put blueberries in. But I'm a NutriBullet. I don't have it. It's on its way from the last shipment I got coming. I was going to ask you the shakes, that shake in particular, I think that's what makes people constipated.
So
Yeah.
that's why we're giving the Ultraflora Balance.
Yeah, it's not what we're eating. It's the shake, because I do shakes like the Garden of Life or whatever. And I've never had an issue. I mean, I'm always, that's the one thing that's never been an issue in the mornings, like twice, right? And now it's like throughout the day, it's off. And I'm like, what the hell? Because I went swimming, I can't eat. So that's why I asked you, I'm going to have a shake.
So Tim, my husband, would disagree with you because he has the opposite problem while he's on
Oh, well, maybe
So,
because
I
I'm
think it
and
depends on the person.
here's the thing that, you know, when people get tricky, but everybody's eating meat, whatever, you know, animal they're eating. I am pescatarian, but I eat only every week and a half to 2. It's whenever I feel like it, but I don't really eat seafood much. And and based on what I eat, it's taken away. This has limited me a lot more, not because of the bread, because it's minimal and it's a flourless one if I want it. So maybe four slices a week. I really got off bread a long time ago. I know what sugar does. I don't even own sugar. You know, I do the stevia and the tea and stevia and the coffee. That's it. So that none of that really bothers me. But trying to create a menu with more limitations than already have. Like I cannot reach to make things like farro, I can't have that, or quinoa. It's so little. It's like not even worth. I'm like, I looked at them like I can't really eat it. Might as well not make it. Yeah. So this has been more of a challenge for me because I'm like, where's the protein? So I was freaking out going, I'm not getting enough protein. So I had to really play with it. That's why I went to get the hemp.
But
and,
where did you get the protein before?
Throughout everything that I eat, but it's unlimited.
So
I didn't worry because it was unlimited. And whenever I felt like it and I knew it, I get it through the variety.
Well, if you're saying limited like a half a cup instead of a cup, then have a cup.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing because I'm like for example, today
That's fine.
I did the shake because I was going swimming. And then I'm like, okay, I've been good with the 12 to 14. Actually, it's been 14 throughout the night. In the morning, I have tea. But today, the pool at the Y, they have specific hours. So it's at 9 a.m. Well, I sucked it down at 8:15, thinking, okay, I need the fuel to swim and I'm not going to stop swimming. So, but then I was burping the thing. I'm like, damn it. So I'm like doing my laps and like, as I breathe for air, I was like burping the thing out. I'm like, shit, I hope I'm not making any noise with this burp. Yeah, I was kind of like, whatever. But then while I was getting ready, I made lentil soup. I just made what I wanted to make. And I always put in what no one does. I just put carrots in, right? And all the spices, the oregano, paprika, anything that makes it flavorful, I always do anyway. But then I add spinach also at the, once it was done, because that heat is going to cook it. Right. So I put tons of, spinach in it and carrots and everything. And I had a bowl and I'm like, I feel I need food. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm having a second bowl of the lentils and everything because I just really felt I needed it. But then now for dinner, I had shakes. At 5, so when I got around eating again, I had a shake, which was okay. And then now 8 o'clock, I was snacking on some walnuts and pistachios.
Okay.
So, you know, cause I'm like, there was no fat in any of this today.
Right, you could use
Right?
some.
I'm like, I need some fat in.
Do you
I'm like,
lose any
"Ah."
weight? Have you lost some weight yet? How much have you
Yeah.
lost?
3.
Okay, that's
Yeah, that's
significant.
water, but that's water.
Significant in 4 days.
No, and 2 and 3. I weighed myself day 1, which I didn't own a scale. Remember I told you, I'm still trying to catch up with what I did.
All right, this is 3 days because we are,
So
this is our
3
fourth
days.
call, but our three days.
So I waited on day 1 in the morning before. So it was day 1, day 2, day 3. So
Okay,
this
today's Saturday.
morning,
40.
I got on the scale before eating. So it was 3 days,
I see.
right?
Mhm. Right,
Yeah,
So it
so
is
it's
4 days.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So 3 days, really.
right. That you,
So-
but you might have lost more weight today if you would have weighed yourself.
Yeah, but I only weigh myself in the mornings before I eat and after the bathroom.
Right,
So it's always, I've always done it that way. Because
Right,
they
I do
say
the same
that's the
thing.
best way
yeah,
to really know. It's like, what is your true weight?
right. I
So I
agree.
got the scale and it's really cool. It's like now everything's a damn app. So, okay, whatever. And this thing is like, has a chart and I'm like, oh, I think I can get into this app. You know, it talks to the scale I get on and has like, the graph is like doing this with the weight. I'm like,
Oh, awesome.
okay, that's kind of cute.
That's
So,
cool.
you know,
Yeah, I like
was
that.
So I'm sure I'll lose weight because I know this is how I did it before. When I was in Puerto Rico, I did a detox, my creation,
Uh-huh.
which was no alcohol. I never give up the coffee, that 1 cup, just that 1 cup. That's why it's not so bad, the coffee. But all the food has been a challenge for me. What's been bad is not having these other things that help me eat, you know, like the farro or, you know, these other things that are good for you also, you know. The vegetables, not an issue. I just pile it, you know, and I'm like, good. Or chopping the carrots, I'm like,
But
you know,
farro doesn't have any protein.
no, farro doesn't have protein, but it helps with the diet, right? Because you're getting your grains, whole grains.
Yeah, but I don't think there's a need for whole grains.
I think there is.
I don't think so.
I-
What are you getting from it?
What do you mean what I'm getting from it? I go to the bathroom every day, perfectly fine. Thank you very much. I'm like, I need some grain, but you know, farro changes it, and it's always like brown rice. So I made,
Brown rice is good. That's a good one.
yeah, I did brown rice yesterday, but I'm like, okay, I haven't had Puerto Rican food since I left. You know, on the 29th, not even the 29th, before that I was so busy that I was just eating whatever,
Right.
you know, whatever I could find to fuel and keep running,
Right.
which is not my preferred way because I feel not as good. But anyway, I'm like, well, it's been over a month, so I'm just going to make, so you know, it's all spices,
Mhm.
it's cilantro, but I put onion in it, you know, obviously. And I made a big thing and then I put them in Ziploc bags in the freezer. Or
Sounds
glass
wonderful. I
containers.
love lentil soup. That's great.
Yeah. So the lentil soup, I put it in glass already. I have 1 in the fridge. So I'm making extra meals.
Mhm.
But that's what I mean. It's like the challenge is to measure the vegetables. I'm like, I can't measure vegetables. It's not enough food. I don't have meat, you know? So that's why I have to
Right.
like pile more in it.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So if we were to do a retreat in Puerto Rico, would you be able to tell us like where a good place to be for that would be?
What kind of retreat?
So at some, like, we're actually, I don't know if we'll be able to manage it for this spring, but we were gonna go to Saugatuck and just put it out there, who wants to go to Saugatuck and like part of our
Oh.
sister squad kind of thing.
Okay.
But we also talked about like a retreat where we talk about health. We do kind of this, not with the shakes, but definitely with food. And like, is there a place that we could go that has like housing and that we could stay? And there's like, I don't know, anything you can think of there?
Like little huts by the ocean shore kind of thing?
I don't know. That sounds amazing. Is that?
Yeah, that's in my town, for example. There's these little
Really?
houses, you know,
Oh,
colorful houses, you know, they made it. And it's right on the, you know, you walk out, you're on the beach.
that sounds
And
amazing.
yeah, and it's a nice, safe, good place. It's in my town. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
know this one, but I could ask and find out
Okay, well, maybe, maybe not this year, but maybe next year in
Yeah.
2023, we can arrange something if you can help us with that.
Yeah, absolutely,
That'd be
absolutely.
fun.
Yeah, yeah. And also, you know, a lot of these things, it's like when you look online, you really don't know what you're looking at, right?
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, so I had rice and beans yesterday. That was like the main source. And beans, I was like, it's gonna be 2 cups. I'm like, I need 2 cups to feel that satiety, like I ate something, right? But mainly I'm doing the 2 shakes. I got them in, so I'm playing with this. But that's
good.
the challenge for me, has been not missing, craving things. It's been substituting, not having the things that I typically eat as a vegetarian. You know, I would
So-
take a wrap, right? Like the Ezekiel that I've told you about, Ezekiel.
Right.
So it has grains in them, whole pieces of grains in them, right?
Right.
And then I would take like a veggie burger patty, like the one that's like the least sodium, the least, you know, junky that one can find. So that would be like my emergency. I have to eat now because something happened and I didn't get to.
So
feed
I'm
him.
gonna say double up on the lentils, double up on the beans, do whatever you need to do, but also watch the weight and see if that reflects
Yeah.
that, see what your balance is.
And because it's around midday, usually midday, I need a proper meal. So I'm not a dinner person, you know, it's been a habit
Right.
for a long time. It's a midday, you know, that depends what time I get up and I started doing stuff. Sometime between 12 and 1, whatever, I need to have a proper meal. Now for dinner, it's not a big deal.
Mhm.
Like I snacked on these, you know, nuts and I'm okay, and a cup of tea. And I took the the pooping pills because I'm like, oh, this is not good.
That's what
Yeah.
they're there for. Take them, take 2 twice a day if you need to.
Yeah, but because I'm eating a lot of vegetables, I wasn't too concerned. I was actually worried. I'm like, it's going to be too much. So I was doing 2 and timing it out. And today is clear. I'm like, it's the shake. I'm like, oh shit. So now I'm going to take them with the shake.
Yeah.
I'm not going to wait for the evening because it's throughout the day.
Yeah,
The
you can take them.
nutrient
I take them
pollen.
throughout the day. I don't take them at night. I take
Oh.
2 I take it with my shakes, my 2 shakes, all my
Yeah.
pills. Just get it done.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Yeah,
Right.
I think I'm definitely going to do that starting tomorrow because today was clear to me. I'm like, it's the shake. And with the afternoon shake at 5 was the one I had it. With that one, I did take them.
Right.
So I had a hunch. I'm like, oh, it's the shake that makes you do that. But anyway. So anyway, I just want to tell you the funny. I went to Trader Joe's.
I know, that is funny. I'm trying to think of who were the 4 people that wanted the crepinis. It was Sue,
They'll come over tomorrow, look for
Ray,
them.
Chris, and there was one more, and I don't remember who it was.
Well, you gave the homework to someone. Hey, this is recording. You should stop the recording.
Oh. Okay.
Nobody's gonna know about my